Gentlemen, welcome back to the Failing to Freedom YouTube channel where my boy and partner in crime, Antonio Centeno, and I, Aaron Marino, aka Alpha M, every single week are trying to bring some piece of knowledge or thing that we have learned through our entrepreneurial and life journey, honestly, that has, we feel, added value or we feel like it's important for people to know. And so today, Antonio, I really wanted to talk to the 30 and 40-year-olds out there, right? Because I am almost 50. You are.
This applies to guys in their 50s and beyond. I think at any age, because we all reach this point in which we're like, shit, it's too late. I've missed the boat. Why am I even going to go after this? It doesn't matter. And what's crazy is you talked like my son's 21 and I'm talking to, his friends and kids his age, and they're like, it's too late. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Too late. Exactly. And that was the thing. Like for me, I had business and failure and bankruptcy before I was even 30. And so I was literally starting over at 30. And I, and I felt like it was, oh my gosh, it's too late. I look at all these people and, you're so much further ahead. Here's the first thing you need to know. The right time that you need to start something is today, now. It's not something to worry about. Like, I should have done this. I could have done that. If I would have done, like, stop it. Give yourself a little bit of grace and realize that now is the time. Nobody is coming to save you. If you want to change your life, if you want to change who you're around 9, 10 hours a day, your coworkers, your job, your career, if you're not happy, nobody's going to knock on your door and deliver a pizza or knock on your door and be like, oh, hey, here's a new life. No, you've got to take control. You've got to take action. Stop blaming, start doing.
Well, where does this come from? This belief that it's too late. And let's face it, it's comparison. We see some, teenage, you see some tech billionaire in his 20s. And I'm sure that in the next few years, we're going to see somebody that's a teenager become a billionaire because they're going to do something with AI. The point is, we see these people achieve this level of success, at least in one narrow sliver. And we're like, man, if they're doing it there and I didn't hit it at that point, I'm obviously behind. And in some cases, there are, that is true. If you wanted to be a competitive high school wrestler, most of the time, most of us have 4 years. You hear about those guys that are 23, that go back to play with the old football team. That is illegal. So there are certain times that it is too late for things. But for the vast majority of life, things that you really want to achieve, it is not too late. Just look at the current president. He's going crazy. He's got like 70 something. The one before him, had mental issues, was 70
something. We're not talking about no politics here.
Okay,
Antonio.
no politics.
No politics.
But my point wasn't
Your
politics.
Point is,
it is, President of the United States, last two of them have been what, in their 70s? So, and how old do you want to be? So I want to live to 100 and I don't want to be bedridden. I'd like the people I admire, are nowadays like these 90-year-old dudes I see at the YMCA that are still in there, moving around, lifting weights, active. So if that is my goal, if that is, who I'm looking at, I got 40 years because I'm going to be turning 50 here soon. Ooh, I know you're going to be turning 50. You're turning 50 a month after me. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Okay,
but here's something else. I need you to listen to me. All right.
Okay.
30s, you're in your 30s, your 40s, your 50s, your 20s.
I thought you were telling me to listen to you.
No, I am telling you to listen. All right.
Okay.
Take care of your body.
Yeah.
The thing that you just said, Antonio, I want to live to be 100, right? Well, great. That's fine. But how you age is optional. And so, too often we go about our life and we put our heads in the sand. Like, I'm going to worry about my health later. Your health is your number one most valuable asset. Without it, nothing else matters. It doesn't matter the car you drive. It doesn't matter how much money you have. It doesn't matter how much people love you. If you are not healthy, that is the one thing that money cannot buy more of. It can give you access to better healthcare, better treatment options. But the one thing that people that are sick want is to be healthy. And so start taking care of yourself. And that includes exercising. I personally believe that you should exercise, move your ass every single day, right? It's just a personal belief. It's something that I am
I think
absolutely.
that's pretty much backed up by the data. And just, if people don't know, you have a whole background in nutrition and health and exercise. I mean, you got that certification back in your early 20s when it
Oh yeah.
actually was difficult. So, and some of the data may be outdated, but again, what we see is daily, and you live this. What's interesting is, well, I wouldn't say it's interesting. I
What's interesting?
exercise probably 3 times a week. That is
All right.
a good week for me.
Which is better than
Yeah,
nothing. Which
it
is
is
better than
better than
nothing.
nothing. And but what's funny is like my friends, the people that I hang out with, Aaron, Ryan, Eric, these like they're maybe not Eric so much, but you and Ryan like are just on top of it. But I do think that that's a huge advantage is if you want to exercise more, surround yourself with people that exercise a lot because it will motivate you to get in and to try to, you may not reach their level, but you know what? When you're around them, every time I come to see you, you take me out running. We walk Kennesaw Mountain together. We are active and moving around. You've got that gym right there in the house. You take your supplements in the morning, which are actually very similar to the ones I take because I copied you. But point being is when you put yourself around these kind of people, you you become more like that versus if you're hanging out with people that are not, it's great to have all different types of friends, but if you want to improve your fitness, go to a place where people are improving their fitness or get around them.
Well, this brings me to something else and another key point that I want to make to guys that are in their 20s, their 30s, their 40s, their 50s, and that is friends. Who you surround yourself with matters greatly. All right. And something else you need to understand is that your friend circle, as you age, it will start to shrink, honestly. And it's okay. It's
People
actually
die.
well, okay. Yeah, because they didn't take care of
They get
themselves.
busy. Yeah.
But the point is that your friend circle will shrink and it's okay to outgrow people. You don't need to feel bad because you don't find the people that you hung out with in high school like interesting anymore. It's okay. You've got to grow. You've got to surround yourself with the people that are going to help you not only hopefully achieve more, but just they're good for you mentally and they fill you with energy. They fill you with love. They fill you with inspiration and motivation, and they're there cheering and rooting for you. If you have anybody in your life, it doesn't matter what age you are, and they bring you down, they make you feel bad, they drain you of energy, why are you spending time with them? Now, some of you, it may be your coworkers, it may be your boss, it may be your significant other. I'm just saying it's now. The time is now. Why let another 5 years, 10 years, 15 years go by surrounding yourself with people that just don't move the needle for you? Antonio, what were you going to say about friends and friendships?
No, it's, I was, when I say they do, if you do nothing, they will get smaller. You start off with 100 friends when you're 18. You are a popular guy in high school. You're friends with everybody. But if you don't stay in touch with people, people naturally drift away. People go off to college. People do their thing. All of a sudden, you're down to 50. And by the time you're in your late 20s, people are in relationships. They're off doing, going down their career path. That's down to 25. By your mid 30s, they've got families. So you're down to 12. And it just is naturally going to get smaller unless you put in the effort to build new friends, find new friends. And what's really great, I think, about finding friends later in life is that you can make sure that you're aligned with interests, that you're aligned with values, you're aligned with, and you don't need to be, it doesn't need to be perfect alignment. I find that if you're doing a project with somebody, you spend, time in the gym with them, you are going out and I don't know, maybe you volunteer together. You may find, hey, this person votes differently than me. And what's interesting about that is when you've done projects with them, when you've gotten to know them, you realize I like this guy. And and you start to better understand human beings in general. So I know my wife and I, we constantly are trying to get to know each other better because if you think from a philosophical perspective, it can take a lifetime for a man to understand himself. So if you're not working to better understand your partner, if you're not working to better understand your kids, if you're not working to better understand those around you, you're really kind of selling that relationship short. There's so much to dive into with people, but you don't need a whole lot. I like to have quite a few. I like to have professional relationships, personal ones, but But I find if you've got 5 people that you can call up and they'll get back to you, or they will pick up the call pretty much no matter what, you count yourself pretty darn lucky.
Absolutely.
If you got more than that, then you've won the lottery.
All right. But what I was really trying to steer you towards, my friend.
Yes,
that was
this
great.
is my
Philosophical.
friend. Yeah, okay.
I love philosophical stuff, Antonio. You bring it strong. But what I'm talking about is talk about network power of the people that you surround yourself with. This was the most liberating and eye-opening thing that ever happened to me is when you, who was smarter than me, still smarter than me, I'll give you that. You said, hey, let's get together. I'm like, F you, man. I don't want to, because I was the type of person, an entrepreneur that was like head in the sand. I don't want you to steal anything from me. Right. And so you convinced me to come out to Anaheim, California. And you were like, hey, while we're out here, why don't we get some of our other internet brethren together? Because at the time there really wasn't anything. And why don't we meet up? And what happened was this building of this amazing network of men that were entrepreneurs that were moving in the right direction. And my life and my career, from that point, I can mark that point on my timeline of life and awesomeness, is that was a point that everything started to change. Everything started to scale. And so what about it? That's
100%.
what I was trying.
I mean, networking is important, but we're talking about, it's too late. And to me, this is just simply a mindset, because you at that point, if you hadn't gotten to know other people, if you hadn't grown in the industry, I still think you would be successful, maybe in a different way and down a different path. But I do believe a lot of guys that we reach a point in which when we hit this mindset point of it's too late, what we've done is we've framed the problem as, hey, there is no solution, and therefore we're not even looking for it. And it's like you're going down on a plane, and that's not great, but there's an exit right here. There's an exit door. But you don't know to take that exit door if you don't look around. You've got to change your mindset. It's not too late. In fact, it's never too late. If anyone's, religious out there, in many of these religions, they talk about last minute, people coming around. You hear, we see these stories in which the bad character, let's take Star Wars, Darth Vader is a bad person throughout most of that. And then at the last moment, he changes, it goes over towards the light. You've got still time. And with that time, what are you going to choose to do with it?
Something else. It's never too late to find new friends. And that's kind of, what we're talking about just right now is that, if you are comfortable, and that's for me, and that's something else I just want the people that are 30 and 40 and 50 and 60 to understand, is that when I'm comfortable, I'm not progressing. For me, I need to be challenged. And part of that being challenged is who I'm surrounded by with, or who I'm surrounded with. And so challenging yourself. Something else, Antonio, before we kind of wrap this video up, is that I feel is very important. And that is stop trying to please everybody. And the other thing, something was very enlightening to me. I heard somebody say, the world does not revolve around you. People aren't thinking about you the way that you think that they are. Everybody is so consumed and concerned with their own life, with their own, their own spouse, the things that they have going on in their own life, that they're not worried about you. And the thing that holds so many people back from trying something new, doing something new, meeting somebody new, is the fear of what other people will think or what they'll say, because they have known you as this type of person. And it is one of the most devastating and crippling things that prevents people from truly moving forward and realizing that amazing destiny that they were basically just ready to uncover. And that was just letting it go, let people go, let the idea of perfection go out there and understand that the world does not revolve around you. People aren't thinking about you. And so when you swing for the fence, when you take the shot, when you go and try to do something amazing, nobody is worried about it. So don't allow fear to stop you.
100%. Although I have to say, when you kept saying, let it go, as the father of 4 girls, I'm just thinking, oh my gosh, Elsa, preach. Frozen. Yeah.
You got me. You're
Oh, come on.
philosophical and you have much more cultural knowledge of movies than I do.
I don't know if
Let
that's
it go.
culture. Yes, yes. Look it up. Look it up. And yeah, it's a whole movie called Frozen by Disney. You probably haven't watched it.
I've seen it. I've heard of everybody, all these little girls. So yeah, you taught me about, it's funny because Antonio's got kids. I don't have children. Right. And so
You got a goddaughter.
you're right. But what we watch on a daily basis, you just enlightened me to the Minions. I would see them. I'm like, I have no idea. But then you played a Minions song for me. And I'm like, okay, that's pretty catchy. I kind of dig that. If I had a kid, I would not mind for them to play that a few times. But
Yes.
anyway,
No. It gets played 10 to 20 times at least in a row. But
ladies and gentlemen, if you have not yet subscribed to this new channel that we are putting together, we are here to serve you. If you have a question down below, ask a question. It can be business, it can be life, it can be relationship, it cannot be style. We're not talking about style on this channel. This channel is geared towards helping you achieve your dreams and realizing your true potential. Because for me, for Antonio, it took a little bit of a windy road and how we ended up getting to where we are. But the thing that we are very, very committed to is helping other people realize freedom. And it doesn't happen without you having struggle, tribulations, and going through some hard times. I truly believe that you will become successful when it is your time, but realize that it's never too late. It doesn't matter what age you are. You've just got to keep moving forward, throwing crap against the wall. Eventually, something will stick. Any final words, Centeno?
fail to freedom. Boom. There we go.
Boom. See you next time.